Okay, so Sietse, it's Eurovision 2016. You're the event supervisor, as we all know. Is everything going as planned in your as it was in your head?
Actually, we just had a meeting backstage about the entire event organization. It's running extremely smoothly. Transportation, hotels, the press center, everything that's going around in town, the Eurovision Village, the Euro Club, and today the opening of the Eurovision exhibition in the ABBA Museum. Everything's smooth and according to plan.
It makes sense that people compare it to the last contest in Sweden, in Malmö, which was a smaller city and a different vibe in the city. Is that also your experience?
Yeah, absolutely. Malmö is a smaller city, especially compared to Stockholm. So it's much easier to sort of take it over. But on the other hand, Stockholm is, especially for the next week, sort of the Eurovision capital of Europe. It's extremely popular here. It's the hometown of the final of Melodifestivalen. So Eurovision is always, it's sort of in the DNA of the people here, and that I think you can feel.
We've spoken to a lot of delegations already, and something that came back for at least 5 countries was the fact that they have entered their plans about visuals and stuff like that, and at least 5 delegations said they didn't work out the visuals exactly as we had it in our heads. Was that different compared to the last couple of years, the way that process has worked out?
Well, actually, over the past years, the host broadcasters have been much more open to receive this kind of suggestions. What you have to understand is that every delegation comes up with a concept. They send that concept in, but at the end, the host broadcaster has 42 ideas, some of them very different, but some of them also very much the same. And then it's up to the host broadcaster to propose different ideas to make sure that every act can stand out. It has to work with the cameras, it has to work with all the other acts. So it is quite challenging to puzzle that together. But obviously the team behind the scenes is very eager to make everyone happy customers we call that. So they're working literally day and night to make changes in the camera plan, the light plan, and also the visuals on the LED screens on the stage.
Talking about visuals, a very interesting rehearsal is the one from Cyprus, where we see projections of wolves, which is not actually on stage. It's really almost like video clip footage, which is inserted. We talked to the stage director who came up with that plan, but we were wondering what is the line for the EBU in using video clip footage in the acts, because it can change the whole feeling and dynamic of the contest.
Yeah, this is a very creative question, and the EBU is trying to leave most of the creative considerations to the host broadcaster. However, what the producers are trying to achieve is to make sure that all the acts are actually happening right here. So anything that's sort of being keyed in or laid over or mixed with the live TV footage should not sort of take the audience at home away from the venue. You want to keep that magical live feeling. So for everyone who is worried about the Eurovision Song Contest becoming a compilation of music videos, I don't think they have to be worried about that.
So this is indeed the line, like these short snippets. Okay, that's the line.
Well, I don't think you can draw a very clear line. These are creative considerations that you have to make every year again and again. And let's face it, technology moves so quickly, the expectations of the audience changes every year, and also all the acts are trying to come up with creative ideas, and it's great that the producers can be flexible in working with these ideas and make sure that everyone has an act that they're first of all satisfied with.
Another hot topic, as was last year, is of course how you're dealing with Russia and the response by the audience we have seen in the last couple of years. We had the clapping band last year, or muting the sound and stuff like that. But we already heard SVT saying we're not going to do that. Is there a change of plans, or is that still the case? How are you dealing with the Russia issue?
Well, if you let's talk about last year for a bit. There was, I remember, an allegation that the ORF, the host broadcaster, that they had what they called anti-booing equipment. We've never heard of anti-booing equipment. It doesn't exist as far as I know. But what ORF, the host broadcaster last year, did use was a so-called sweetener. That is a recorded applause that complements the venue sound. And they use that to to bridge to different elements in the show, but also to complement the sound from the audience, and that is very complicated. They are perfectly used to using that kind of so-called sweeteners in their productions, so it was for them a big surprise that this topic came up. Then on sort of the booing itself, obviously it's not up to us to censor people's opinion, and we fully respect that. But at the same time, we appeal to the fans and the audience in the arena to understand that the Eurovision Song Contest is a non-political event. It's an artist that is doing a performance on stage. They represent their country, but not, for example, their political establishment, the law, or a particular attitude in that country towards whatever. So what we're saying is realize why we are here and realize why we come together and what the foundation of the Eurovision Song Contest is, and that is a non-political one.
Because we also spoke to some Russian fans and journalists last year after the booing when the voting was there and it looked like Russia might win it, and they were actually crying and people were hurt by these actions.
Yeah, not only people in the audience, obviously the artist was also touched, not only last year but 2 years ago when we had the Tomachevi twins, young girls doing a very important performance for them in their career, representing their country, and that's a lot of pressure on their shoulders, and to then face sort of the aggression and the negativity from some people in the audience. Let's not blame the entire audience, but that is I believe a little bit disrespectful to the artist.
So one last thing, we had Paul Clark, the head of delegation of Australia, as our guest in the talk show a couple of days ago, and he talked about the Asia Pacific Song Contest, that they plan to broadcast it for the first time in March, and we were thinking March. It's close to May. Is there in some way an involvement between both contests possible? That the winner of that contest will be involved in Eurovision or something like that? Will it really become a cooperation between both contests?
Well, because essentially it's the same sort of fundamental format. Of course, there is good cooperation between the EBU and the Australian broadcaster SBS. When it comes to the sort of how these two events connect to each other, that is of course yet to be seen. That's one of the many considerations that they have to make. But I do believe that the choice of timing for an event like this is mainly based on the TV schedules of the countries in that region, just like the Eurovision Song Contest is very sort of well embedded in the TV schedule in Europe in May. So whether they will connect or not and how that will exactly happen, that is yet to be worked out. But it would of course be great to somehow show the people of Europe what's going on in Asia and the other way around.
Almost forgot one more thing. It's your last Eurovision in your current role. How does that make you feel? How do you walk around here knowing? Do you indeed, in your mind, keep that in your mind that this is the last time that I do this and this is the last time that I do that?
Yeah, of course. And on one hand, it's business as usual, trying to make things work. On the other hand, I'm trying to really enjoy it and, of course, do a good job, because we only get the chance once every year to get it right, and we have no other option than to get it right.